Good evening, everybody. Hello. I guess it could be good morning wherever you are. It could be good afternoon. It could be whatever. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Teddy.
We can't stop snapping. Banger episode for you guys as Brad and I break down the definitive, the all-time defining tier list, top 10 cards in the game. We've been doing our tiers for every single series, and now we're going to throw all the S tiers into a I was going to say a bracket. It will not be structured as a bracket, but they're going to all face off against each other to see who is the greatest in the game. We maybe had some of the greatest in the game just release Mockingbird to be able to chat about. We also had an insanely good patch, and we also have this new event, Avengers versus X-Men. Oh my goodness, Brad. Let's go to the patch first. So I had people in my chat heralding this as the greatest patch all time. Do you have a hot take for us?
Well, as far as balance goes, which I have on the screen there for everybody if you're watching.
We'll run through it quickly for audio in a second.
We will go through it in a moment. First things first. For balance, I don't know. Maybe not balance. Ooh. Maybe balance part isn't the best patch of all time. Because really, honestly, what happened in this patch is as far as balance goes. You got Elsa back to her original form, technically, sort of, and Meek got a huge buff. Leech got hit, but is still applicable in other situations, and we'll see how that ends up shaking out.
Leech was a weird sidestep.
Right.
The cable change was very nice. The Mantis change, I'm going to say, is nice because I'm actually seeing her played. But like these are peripheral cards, and they're still not meta mainstays now. They're still peripheral cards.
Just got yeeted into the sun.
Yondu is future proofing to assist Baron Mordo. Baron Zemo. Baron Zemo coming out.
You got me saying the wrong thing.
But so we're just gonna wait to be able to play that. I think it'll do very well together. They just for some reason put this change out early.
I already tried the Yondu into cable thing, like they suggested would be good, and I'm like, this sucks.
No, thank you.
Anyway, so as far as the actual meat and potatoes of the patch goes that aren't balanced, getting custom cards, which is awesome, and a working graveyard.
Yes.
For both destroy and discard.
Amen.
That is the big thing. So that is where I could agree with people saying it's the biggest patch ever. However, I'm going to be greedy, Teddy. I'm going to rain on everyone's parades a little bit.
Right.
It's not good enough. We need a log. Mm-hmm. We need a true log.
Yes,
and you know what? Someone was saying on stream today in my chat. I was saying this. I was like, look, this is great. It's wonderful, but we need a log. You know why we need a log, Teddy? Because they go to say this in the patch. It doesn't count regenerative cards or regenerative cards. So Wolverine, X-23, those getting hit. Or, for example, APOC in your hand. Because you know what's the big issue right now, Teddy? With discard, if I go MODOK and I have, let's say Collector on board, and I have Morbius on board, and that's it, and I play MODOK, you know what's going to happen? It fast forwards because it's like, you can't discard all that. We can't show all those effects.
Why we've gotten to that, I don't know. Because what was like annoying for the excessively long animations were not even the ones that they fixed. They like auto fast forward through too many discards, but I was never too bothered by that. What I hated was like Bar Sinister Venom and just like, and he eats. Oh, what happens next? He eats again. We could fast forward that for sure.
Or Gambit Wong. That doesn't fast forward.
No, that shouldn't. It should never. But like Wong
Ironheart board get destroyed.
Wong Ironheart maybe should fast forward. There's some stuff like this that like they just changed the wrong things, and I think fast forward right now should just be scrapped.
I agree. And the problem with fast forward right now is because APOC is a regenerative card, he does not show up in this card. He doesn't show up. So that fast forward happens, and you never know if your opponent
maybe they had APOC, maybe they didn't.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh wow, it's a mystery. Huh, interesting.
You
try to count their cards.
Drac gonna be your Drac could be very big, or he could be meh. I don't know.
So that already sucks. So
I mean, you can count how many cards are left in their hand, and that will give you some of the information in that.
But that's
one
always
scenario.
Yeah, but that always doesn't work because I'll be like, okay, well, I feel like they had 3 last turn, but I don't. Now I'm confused. They have 6. How did that happen?
It's not great, but it is something you can do. You have to remember how many swarms.
But you have to watch their hand for the turns leading up to it first. You can't just be like, Oh God. So because of that, I'm like, and then someone said, well, how are they going to fit
Oh,
that
and if
on
there's
mobile?
helicarrier, it would never work. But
Right. They're like, how are they
yeah,
going to fit that on mobile? I'm like, you see how you click on the top left on your thing?
yeah,
Okay. You see all these emotes and stuff?
right.
Cool. You see how there's a little thing that says like scroll and it goes to another page and then
Mm-hmm.
it's just a couple of little tags and then empty space. Wow, look
Yep.
at that. There's your log right there. Just
You
in
see how
small
you
print.
long press on the energy to bring up a whole new screen that just has one button right now?
Right.
Scroll that.
Exactly. They could easily have meant like log. All I need to see is on turn one, this player played this. This player played this. This destroyed this. This
Yeah.
is the sequence of
It
events.
could
Like,
even be, yeah, abbreviated to just the things that we really care about right now, of like Wolverine destroyed, APOC
right.
discarded. Like if they wanted to implement just like half a log basically and only track those things, sure. And then we can improve from there, right?
But even then, there's no reason not to give us the full log because you know why, Teddy? In order for
Sure.
the game to work as it does now, there's a log already existing in the
In the
client in the
game, yes.
background. It has to. It has to. It would
Right.
have to exist.
Yeah. For them to be able to debug.
Just translate that log away from your spaghetti code into just simple English.
Right.
That's like a few weeks
I mean,
work
I
for
think
somebody.
you struck on why is it's spaghetti code. There's things that happen in live client that they don't understand because it doesn't happen in test client. Like this
Right.
is, it boggles the mind sometimes.
Like even today, I was telling you about this earlier. Around 4 p.m. earlier today, they said that they may have to uninstall and revert back to a previous version before this patch because people were having their game crash like
Yeah.
randomly today,
Yep.
and they're like, "We have no idea what's causing that."
So
So
that's
they were
why you guys will get premium mystery variants in your log now.
can't wait. So let's get into the actual patch itself, starting with Elsa Teddy. She's going from
Big
a
change.
2/3 and it not being a global effect anymore, +2 to the card on that actual location. If you fill, now she's a 3/3, and she just has global again.
She's back,
Yeah,
baby. She's just more expensive. And this is also reverting to the old version of she buffs the card before it reveals.
correct.
Important for a number of nuanced situations. And I think that was always a little bit more natural to me to understand how she would work. She's also more beneficial in that order for a lot of reasons. This is great.
Right.
I think Monkey Drop is just back.
See, I think the reason this deck with like, okay, look, I talked about this today.
Yep.
I said I'm so happy to see my opponent playing Kitty Pryde. I'm so happy to see Elsa again. I'm really happy to see Angela. These all make me happy.
Right.
But I said this thing, and I was pointing at Hope. Get it out of here. Because what they did was they played like Kitty a bunch, Elsa on top of Hope, and they were able to play Kitty plus Doom, Kitty plus Eliath on turns 5 and 6. And I was just like, that doesn't feel fair in the slightest.
Get lit up. Yeah, no, Hope, when they're hitting it with multiple cards, and it's not just the 1 energy jump, it's like the 2 energy jump. The 2 energy jump is crazy.
Right.
The 1 energy jump is enough for her to be the best, one of the best cards in the game, maybe the best still. But the 2 energy jump is what puts her in an S tier of herself.
Yep. So good for Elsa. Hope needs to be once per turn effect at the very least, and probably shave off a couple points of power. She shouldn't be a 3/4. She should be under like she. Okay, here's my thing. Electro
you gotta do
what
is it? Double thumbs sets off the fireworks. Light her up.
Yeah.
Light her up.
So,
there we go.
Here's my thing. Electro.
Okay.
Right.
He
has
3/2.
He's a 3/2. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's 2 points of power below rate. If we're looking at Cyclops,
he also has a powerful restriction that he kind of hamstrings
exactly.
you with.
He gives you only +1 per turn blanket. Right. That's it.
Yep.
And says you're Sandman. Sorry. Right. He has 2 like I get it. She has a maybe you'll get it and you don't get it immediately. Like you don't start getting until turn 5 essentially. Where he can go immediately from 3 to 5 to 6 to 6.
Yes.
But she can go 3 and then next turn 6. You just play a bunch of stuff and then 6/6, right? It's kind of the same thing.
With Wasp or Psylocke, there's like ways to be able to get it immediately. It's a much more difficult combo, less common, but still possible.
Oh well. Next one, big one, massive one, amazing. Got me to Infinite today.
Nice.
I went from 92 to 100, went 25 and 9, plus
Cruising.
like 56 cubes. We
Yep.
were averaging almost 2 cubes a game. It was insane. Meek, our boy, 1-1. No longer does he move randomly at the end of the turn. Now he just says, next turn, I'll move if you want me to. You can
That's
move me like a
fantastic.
Nightcrawler.
I actually have won most of my games by him just being able to stay still instead of forcing him to move around. Like, I love this.
Right.
But
Yeah,
also, yeah, discard getting a tool to be able to get into locked out locations, fantastic. They had Proxima. Proxima is dicey. Meek now being assured. It gives this like utility, this guarantee on the deck that already is bumping up and how much power you're putting down. Ooh, love it.
let me tell you, I've been playing like because Prox was in the list, right? That I played.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I should be able to show you right here. It's
Oh, there
this
it
list.
is.
And look at that 25 and 9
Glorious.
plus 59, almost 2 gives you a game. So we have Proxima. I have
Yeah.
gotten really good at being able to be like, okay, so I'm setting up my turns and make sure that my power is where I want it to be because I suspect they're going to be starting putting power here. I'm trying, like, I'm already on top 5 and 6 looking at where Proxima is going to go and basically
Yes.
planning out on turn 2 and 3. I want her to be over here. And it's been,
Yes.
it's actually really like rewarding and feels really good when you can get her to go to the spot you need her to.
Right.
Um, and especially because Meek is now flexible thanks to this update and he can move, you're able to kind of, you know, quote unquote overcommit to a lane in order to force Proxima into a different spot, right? And then
Yeah, you can corral
move
her
him.
with this.
And then then you can move him later over to
Yeah.
Proxima and get back that power. So like normally if I put Meek somewhere, I'm like, oh, I hope he goes where I want him to. Now it's just like, cool, I have access. And that's the same thing with and so now the deck has two ways to get into Death's Domain, Vormir without sacrificing a creature immediately, and sometimes you don't have time to because
Yeah.
like this deck likes to play on curve. As well as Sanctus Sanctorum, Altar of Death. You have you have 2 cards to get into there now. And that's without considering playing Storm like the deck did in the past. And you still could if you really wanted to, but you don't need to. It's great.
Yeah,
Like, this is an
exactly.
amazing change.
Mantis may be a little bit less impactful, but going from a 2/3 to a 2/2, she will now copy one of the cards that your opponent played rather than grabbing the card off their deck. So it's interesting. I've been seeing people play her way more than before. I don't love it still, but
So all this has done is so I think it's an upgrade. Let me say that. It is a
yes. No, I
buff.
agree.
It is a buff. And it makes her better. But you know what I want her to do instead? I want her to stay the same. Maybe you make her a 3 cost. You make her Cable Satline that he was before, a
Yeah, the
3/4.
3/4. Okay.
And then you make her mini leader. You know how Negasonic is a 3/2 mini Eliath, right?
Yep.
What if you made her I guess you can do 3/2. Make her a 3/2 mini leader where you copy the lowest cost card that your opponent played this turn on your side.
Oh,
Or
she'd
lowest
have to be
power.
weaker than a 3/2.
Why should the weak I mean Negasonic's a 3/2 and blows up a card. Leader's a 6/2.
Yeah.
But he takes the highest power card that your opponent played.
Right.
Just
Right.
take the lowest
It's
power card they played.
I'm not. I would be fine with it if it's in her lane. Then she could even be the highest card in her lane. But I don't like the lowest card they played for the situations that happen so often where they only play one card, and then
Good.
it's like, oh, you're Sarah Control. I'm Sarah Control now.
Right. Give it to me.
No.
Okay, if we're not gonna nerf Zabu, if we're not gonna nerf Hope, give it
Yep.
to me. Give me if you want. Hey, this is the game you created.
It's true. If you don't want to nerf these cards, bring up some challengers.
Right. So I don't know, but otherwise, she in my mind right now, she's almost like kind of like a mini leader in that
Yeah.
sense
Gotcha.
in her current form. It's just I wish she had a little bit of a nudge in a different direction. But then there's
Yeah.
Cable. He's
Cable
back to a
looking
two
great.
three. That's
Yeah.
great.
He's now
Same
just
effect.
better than Mirage.
I don't know. It varies. Cable in Loki specifically is better in the mirror. I'll say.
No, he's better in all cases
I don't know.
than Mirage.
I think Mirage stealing a card with extra energy, or I'm sorry, with extra
She's
power.
copying.
Right, she's copying, but that's fine because it's effectively stealing because you just match what they do, but then better.
Yes,
It's
but it's not stealing. The thing is that when you steal, they don't have any of it.
I
When you
understand.
copy, they still have their version, which is integral to their game plan. But Cable able to pull the domino piece out from the middle, and only you know what it was. Like, oh, I got your Hella. Oh, I snap. And what? You're gonna
Okay,
wait so you can draw into it? Yeah,
the ceiling is better on Cable. The floor is better on Mirage.
I might actually say this. There's like a couple fringe cases where the ceiling might be better on Mirage, but in general, I just really like Cable. Like I'm replacing Mirage entirely with Cable now because like
That's
in
good news
Destroy
for. Good.
where you can snipe the really either the cheap death or the really built up Deadpool, like
Right, right.
that's crazy. But here with Cable, you could potentially just grab death or null in the Destroy matchup, so it's still good.
And this is great news. Hearing you say this, Teddy, that you're dropping Mirage, a Series 5 card,
Yeah,
for a
the starter.
Series 1 card, starter card. Oh my God. So everyone
Yeah,
has
Series
this.
One or whatever. Yeah.
And if you just watched, as a Patreon member, our new video on how to play uh, Loki,
Yep.
well, we had Mirage in there. And if you wanted a budget replacement or even just a better replacement, according to
Right.
Teddy, you got one already. It's Cable. Run them.
Exactly.
All right, Teddy, here's a big one,
Yes.
but might not be big enough, which we'll talk about in a moment. Time
Exactly.
Stone. Time Stone is now a 1-1, still a 1-1. On reveal, draw a card, but instead of gaining the +1 energy for next turn, that card costs 1 less, specifically.
Yes. Right.
So no more just immediately going, all right, turn 3 this, 5 cost, like Professor X, whatever.
Right.
This is an interesting change, one that I would have thought would be more impactful than it is. I mean, it is. There is impact. But once in the same breath, we also got Mockingbird, and
Exactly.
we also just got previously last
Skull
week Hope
Obsidian
Summers,
and
which
Hope
is
Summers.
just
Yes.
which is new Lockjaw in the list essentially.
Right.
Um,
So now the deck runs Psylocke and Hope very easily, so it still has access to these energy ramp effects. Timestone change here is just like a little half step back. Obviously, it's very impactful for the deck that used to rely on Greenstone play, but the deck is still fully functional and the best deck right now because of how good
and
Mockingbird is and Hope is. And
let's put a pin in that for
yeah,
a second, and let's just fly through these other ones. We got to go right back to Thanos because
yeah,
Mockingbird.
none of these other ones have I even seen. I've seen Yandu, okay, but
Eh.
yeah,
M'Baku basically has Proxima Knight's text now, so he jumps from the deck at the end of the game still, but he'll go to the location has the lowest power. So, kind of can make him better in some cases,
no, don't play
but he
him.
also can just screw you over in other cases, even worse than he did. But now you have the agency to play around that, just like I explained with Proxima earlier. So
Sure.
could be interesting. Yondu now destroys the lowest cost card in your opponent's deck. So the idea and the philosophy, like we said, is gearing up for Baron Zemo, who's going to be a
Yep.
3/4 that says recruit. Interesting new keyword. Might just be
Right.
flavorful. Could be sneaking at other potential cards in the future. Who knows? But it basically just adds a card, adds the lowest power card from your opponent's deck to your side of the field there. So the idea is Yondu sniping the lowest, getting the junk out of the way, right? To clear up Cable to be a good turn 2 play, to clear up Baron to be a great turn 3 play. It gives you a higher roll at it's the lowest technically according to Baron Zemo, but it's a 5 cost still, right? That's what they're gearing up for. Until then, it sucks. It's not great.
Yes, and so to be extra clear, it is the lowest cost that Yondu will destroy, and then the lowest cost remaining that Baron Zemo will recruit. So
Right.
I think that obviously as soon as Baron comes out, I'm gonna have to try Yondu with him to see how that works. Feels like a pretty smooth move. We'll see, what that really looks like. And then Leech altered, keeping his 5/3 stat line, but now he only hits the on-revealed cards, while ongoing cards keep their text, and passive cards will keep their text.
And two things. He's also an on reveal again himself, so
Yes,
no longer
yes,
does he get around Cosmo. And he actually works the turn he comes in. It's not going to be so in those fringe cases where it mattered that you wanted to come out right on 5 if you have priority.
right.
Then cool, that helps. I don't think it will be applicable anymore because when I was thinking of that before, it was like leeching their
No,
APOC before they
the
discarded it.
The thing is that you can get him down. You can cheat him on turn 4 to
Yeah,
hurt them earlier now.
right.
Yeah,
And there might be more impactful, 4 costs or 5 costs on reveals you want to get rid of.
because that
The other
used to be
thing,
the bane of people's existence. Is you would ramp into leech
right.
and then keep rolling while their deck was bricked.
And the other thing is, you mentioned it doesn't affect ongoings. It will if they have an on reveal. So, like Electro,
True.
for example, removes the entire text.
Yeah.
So when we get more cards like that have both an on reveal and an ongoing,
Okay,
um,
so I know you meant Electro, but you said Electra, and I just remembered that I had a game where I played Deadpool on Bar Sinister, and then they played Electra and killed every single one, and it was like a 500. It was, well, it wasn't 500. It was like a 200 power Electra, and I was like, oh my goodness. Anyway,
amazing. That's really good. But yeah, so that's the balance patch update. And I wanted to put a pin in the time stone to go back because just like the time stone, Mockingbird
Thanos.
is the new Thanos toy. This card is not Man Thing. That's not what I clicked on. I definitely clicked on Mockingbird. This card is very, very, very good.
Yep.
And I'm a little, I don't want to say worried, because I don't think I'm at that point yet. But there is
Right.
this
It's
pattern,
not Blob.
right? It's just there's a pattern of Thanos getting toys over and over again. And
Yeah,
let's
he seems to
look.
be able to use so many different cards better than other decks.
Can I sort the cards by release? Is that a
Because we
thing?
had Blob was kind of the big one that blew things out. And then we got Cull Obsidian, which was a little more niche. We had Scar in there. Now Scar has actually been cut because Mockingbird's just a little bit better. Hope Summers, Lockjaw before that, but she now steps into the void that Lockjaw had. And they keep on having to nerf these cards like Blob and Lockjaw because of how well Thanos uses them. But then they release new stuff that just is as good or better. Like
Yeah.
Mockingbird is as good as any of these cards ever were.
So let's look back the last. So let's go back to Blob.
Oh
Right.
no. Yeah,
That's
so
where it all
Blob,
started.
yep, okay.
So we got Blob,
Yep.
Thanos card.
Then
Then we got Scar and
yep,
Kyera.
Thanos card. Thanos
Both.
card.
Yeah, these are. I mean, Scar not so much anymore based on the way the deck's
But he
kind of
was.
moved, but he was. Kyera, Thanos card.
Yep.
Then we move on. Supergiant could be. I think there's still reason to maybe try.
No.
Black Swan though, absolutely Thanos card.
Thanos card.
Cull Obsidian, Thanos card.
Thanos card.
Corvus, I've seen it work.
Maybe it could happen. Why
Right.
not?
Pixie explicitly doesn't work with the stones,
Yep.
so they were worried about being a Thanos card.
Yeah.
Hope Summers. Wow, it's a Thanos, card. Who knew?
Yeah.
Mockingbird Thanos card.
Thanos.
So we have 1, 2, 3.5, or 3.5 of these two, 4.5,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7.5 cards in the last couple of months that have been released as Thanos centric cards. And Alioth is also essentially a Thanos card too. It's just because it's a
Yeah, I
deck
mean,
that's
Alioth
good
was.
about.
I think Alioth was like the true neutral. Like he's in everything.
Right.
But Thanos now will play Alioth. Thanos now will play Mobius.
To
The
stop
deck
your
with
opponent's Mockingbirds, by the way. That's
exactly.
why.
That's like the only reason.
So,
Mockingbird is insane at 5/9 base stat line and then a discount per card on the board that didn't start in your deck. The ability to play her for basically for free, especially with Greenstone or an extra energy cheat alongside Pro X, to have a burst of 10 power, lock a lane down
yep.
is insane. That's probably the best use I've seen for her. I mean, you can get her down pretty early to be able to go into any location that's going to have a restriction on it. Being 9 power, you play her early without any hesitation. And also, the backup plan, like the bad case where you've played one stone on turn 1, one stone on turn 2, and then you
And then
just
she's
play
3.
Mockingbird for turn
Right.
3
And
is a
then
good
Cull.
play.
And then you could play Cull Obsidian on turn 4.
Cull on turn 4, and it goes from there. Like the plan B for Thanos has almost never looked better.
And then on top of that, if you don't draw either Mockingbird or Cull Obsidian, Blob's happy to eat either of them.
Yes, exactly. Good tool for Blob, to the point that Lambie even cut Magneto from his Thanos deck because he has enough bodies. And I'm sure you're happy to see that, Brett, because I know
I'm so
Magneto is
happy.
the worst card.
It It's one of the best cards in the game, and it's crazy. So if I were to change something, I have a very simple
Well,
change, Teddy.
we have to add her to our Series 5 S tier list.
She's
I
not
think I may
she's not
have
S tier yet.
a Freudian slip that I think that she might be S tier. Now, I did test her in as many other decks as possible, and she did not feel as good.
Yeah.
She felt
So
fine, but
I
not busted.
okay. So let's look at this. Right. This is where our last list. Here's Cold Obsidian in A tier. Cold Obsidian
Yep.
goes in more decks than she does. Right.
Yes.
And he
True.
has the power of being in a Thanos deck and being very good in the Thanos deck.
Right.
She has pretty much being a very, very good card. I would argue better than him in Thanos,
Right.
but less application elsewhere. And the decks that you want to put her in outside of Thanos aren't nearly as good because it's harder to get the the stuff down. So for that
Yep.
reason, I would put her right ahead of Cold Obsidian
Mm,
in A tier.
man, she just feels so good in this Thanos deck, and this Thanos deck is
I
running
agree,
the
but
table
it's
right
only
now.
Thanos. It's only
It's
Thanos.
true. It's
And is
true.
it her that's
I mean,
actually
it's
the best
very
thing in
good
it, or is
company.
it
It's her next to Alioth, Annihilus,
right?
Blob, Black.
But
Like,
she's
these
not
are all
S tier yet.
incredible cards.
Not yet. You haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
She doesn't. She's not as powerful as Blob. She doesn't define an archetype like a Nihilus. She doesn't kill your opponent's cards immediately, winning the game like Goliath. She doesn't spawn a new archetype like Black Knight. She's not the super ultimate flexible card like Nico. She's not the super ultimate flexible card like Jeff, and she's not the one man army.
Super
in
ultimate
Iron
flexible card. Like,
yeah,
yeah. Okay, I get it.
I had to change it for the last one. So I think she's A. Now I have a change I propose for her. Well, I know it's all.
Okay.
I know that's crazy already. Like we're
That's.
nerfing already.
I do think that she could actually be like a 1 week nerf kind of card
Okay.
because they saw Blob Winter, right? They had to have seen Blob Winter, and they're looking at almost a 1-dimensional meta right now. Like,
Very simple. Let's see how this goes.
okay.
She's a 6'10" now.
Shang target, more expensive, doesn't come out as quickly with Pro X.
Yeah.
The nerf to 10 power, quote unquote.
Which is interesting. So you increase her
Would
cost
you hear
enough.
Would you hear 6'11"? So that way it's like an even-handed, right? You expect like 2 power for 1 energy, right?
I think 6'10" is still very good because then she's also effectively can be a 2'10" or 3'10", right?
Yeah.
And it also makes it that you need to either have Mind Stone on 1 or just 3 stones naturally in hand to get her down on turn 3.
I worry a little bit because that might bring Scar back with like an extra way to discount him.
Sure, that's fine. I'd rather give a worse card in the deck because they got to cut something, and I think you're cutting a better card if you're forcing Scar to come back in. I think Scar is such a win more trap in Thanos, even with Mockingbird, that it doesn't thrill me.
Interesting.
Now maybe
obviously Mobius still shuts both of them down.
True. Yeah.
Which a lot of people want to run right now anyway. Yeah, I would be interested in seeing her at 10 power before you got another change. I would also be interested in seeing her just exclude stones. Like, the stones work in their own way. People understand that. I think it would not be too inelegant to make that change. Like, whatever text play you need to do to say that either the stones explicitly don't count for Mockingbird, or you create some other scenario where Thanos is bringing them into the deck, but then they count in some other way.
So yeah, there's one thing we could say is like Thanos doesn't add them into the deck at the start of the game. They just exist in the deck off rip. But then the other side of that is to what you brought up off stream.
They both need to exactly not start in the deck, but also not add to the deck. Because yes, if they started in the deck, Pixie would be able to shuffle their 1 cost to the other cards in the deck, which would make Pixie Thanos insane.
So they would need
have access to cheap cards and card draw.
So they would need a new keyword that is neither transform or add to get around Pixie.
Yes.
and Mockingbird.
that
Thanos
they've
has to
released
be
in
its own
quick
entity
succession.
at this point.
Pretty much. Or I actually like this. We said you could just add EIS at the end of cards if you want to exclude Infinity Stones.
Right. But
And
an
then,
elegant
yeah,
design, they don't want to do that.
right.
They also don't want to have like abbreviations and keywords. Like they don't want to have like flying first strike like it's in Magic. My personal opinion, by the way, is I don't care about Pixie. If you want a Pixie Thanos deck, that's fine. I don't care.
Would you say this until you have to fight a ladder full of Pixie Thanos decks that are all coming to eat you?
Mobius, baby, throw it down.
Sure. Yep.
I don't.
I know
There's
you're a Sarah control player. You have no fear.
just play the Mobius. Don't care.
Yep.
Or just have more power. 5-head, easy.
Yeah. Right.
I don't.
still cleans house. It's true.
I think Pixie decks are bad. I think they're bad. I think even the ones
No.
that have like become like more solved or whatever. Let's go look. Let's see how Pixie's performing right now from 80 to 100. Okay.
I don't think that she needs a nerf or anything, but I think she's a good card.
Let's see.
Like, I'm sure it's a high Evo deck, right?
Oh my god, what's going on? Yo,
Untapped is busted.
So it is the Haiva deck. 0.40,
High Evo
55%
control.
win rate. But let me ask you this. Okay?
Yep. What could the deck do without Pixie? Just fine.
Right. But then on top of that, I'm asking you this. 0.40 cubes, 55% win rate, okay? Now, remember that. Okay?
Right.
0.40, 55%. The one without her is also at 55% and 0.30. But I ask you, is that because of Pixie or is it because they're running Cosmo?
And as a mistake. No, I think that Pixie does give you that little element of being able.
Let's compare She-Not, I guess.
Right.
What's the difference between these two, by the way? Oh, it's not running Shocker. There you go. There's the squeaky wheel. It's Shocker.
Gotcha. Yeah.
0.39. It's a higher win rate, barely
there
lower
you go.
cube
Pixie's
rate.
an upgrade, baby.
Is
Pixie's
it really
upgrade.
though?
It truly is.
I don't think it is.
Amazing.
I think it's just whatever.
No. I think it actually is because look at this. You get away from running Magic. You have a faster deck. This is something I've always liked, is being able to get away from running Magic in my high Evo. So.
Okay, here we go. I was like, hold on. The other ones didn't have Hope Summers. Here we go. Here's a better comparison. No Pixie, Hope Summers, just like the other one. Higher average cube rate, higher win rate. Checkmate, Atheist. I win.
Hope is that good. Was Hope in the other one? I run Hope and Pixie
it is.
together.
It's with Pixie.
Gotcha.
That's the top one.
Well,
it runs
there you
Pixie
have
and
it.
Hope. So okay,
Pixie's
is it Pixie
fine.
that's making it better, or is it Hope that's making it better? I think it's probably
definitely Hope. Yeah, Hope's 100% the card that you would rather see.
So this is my reasoning. Okay, now imagine this card that has
that high Evo deck was using Pixie, but it wasn't using Mobius. What are they doing? No Mobius.
It's probably because they rather have Hope. So this has a 0.29 cube rate, which is fine. It's okay. It's not amazing. It's just okay. And just a barely above 52.3, just above 50% win rate.
Yep.
I'm not afraid of this in Thanos. Give it a try. I'd rather try that because Teddy, the design restrictions that Thanos provides at the moment with things like Mockingbird are going to be way more common.
Yeah.
And from a card design standpoint than something like Pixie.
No, definitely. Because it was been Quinjet too, and then they had to change Quinjet to have the minimum. And wasn't something else at one point? Like there have been so many cards that the stone interaction is wonky and like too powerful.
Yeah. The other side of it is that I'll say you can't remove the card draw from Time Stone anymore because that's where I would have gone first, by the way, with the Time Stone change, not what they did.
Right.
But because they're tying the next card you draw or the card you draw with its effect being the -1, then you have to keep so let's just give the Space Stone another point of power, take its card draw away. It's a 1/2. It's a 1/2.
Okay.
Or make it a 1/3 like Power Stone. A 1/3, you can move a card there.
A card.
Let me ask you this.
Yep.
A 1/3 ongoing. Once per turn, you can move a card here.
Now, I would love that. I'd be down. Thanos already hits kind of overdraw situations, so I think he'd be totally fine with this kind of change. And there's the question, right? If do you keep on tinkering with Thanos and making his kit of the stones weaker, or do you tinker with some of these other cards that are becoming problems within his archetype? And that's how they keep on dancing around in circles
I
of like,
mean,
oh, a little bit
hope
off
needs
orange
to.
stone, a little bit off
This needs to
green
go
stone.
away.
It's a lot of it is hope. Yeah, hope is insane.
Also, I find it so funny that in the patch notes they're like, maybe Soulstone
Maybe
died
yeah.
for Time
It's
Stone too early.
it's
Maybe we'll
like
go back and change that, give it its
yeah.
card draw back, and now
No, no, no.
Mockingbird came
Meanwhile,
back.
Thanos is the best deck.
Please,
It's
sir.
straight up like remember the moment where Thanos was like the meta deck, and then they buffed him from a 6/8 to a
Yeah.
6/12, and you're like, what?
What are you doing?
The meme of people drowning in Thanos and then second inner high fives them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus 3 power.
Yeah,
So
brutal.
that's that. We have another thing to go over. Let's see if it's in the news.
Technically, the imbalance patch has struck,
Yeah,
giving
so
us
we
something to
have
talk about.
new event.
It is content, but Brad is not happy about it.
It's okay. I'm not happy about it for a good reason. So
Yep. What's this
it's
good reason, Brad?
it's Avengers versus X-Men, all
It
right?
is
And you
thematic.
have all these cards. I'm
Lots of
sorry.
cards to play with.
I'm sorry, listeners. I'm not reading all of these. If
You can read it for
you
yourselves.
if you want to see it, okay, right now, 3, 2, 1. It's on the screen. You can rewind it, pause it, read. That's the Avengers. Now here are the X-Men. 3, 2, 1. Pause. Do whatever. Read. Sorry, I'm not reading all these. There's like 20 cards in each of them. So X-Men. Once you
There are
play
some in
4
both,
of them,
as
is
well?
there? I didn't notice. I thought they were all unique. Like
Okay.
there's no Miss Marvel in both, and right now Miss Marvel is currently in the X-Men
Interesting.
in the comics. So
For some reason, I thought they were in both, but go ahead.
nope, they're unique. So X-Men. Once you play 4 of them, X-Men have +1 power. By the way, this is something similar to the Valentine's Day thing. Sorry, got
Right.
ahead. It's just like that, which means it's available on both ranked ladder and conquest. So if
Which
you
makes
play
Brad
these
unhappy.
X-Men, that part makes me unhappy. If you play 4 of them, all your X-Men have +1 power. The Avengers,
Right.
locations with 3 Avengers have +3 power. So it's like
Yep.
a build your own Baxter building, but for that location only. It's fine. This is cool.
Sure. Yeah.
So
They
let me
work
start by
as a
saying that.
team.
Yeah, Avengers Assemble. Look at that. Let me start by saying this is cool. I like the idea behind it. I like the execution of what the actual event is. And I
Right.
like these team up things. Okay. I want to see more of these. I want to see, the Fantastic Four. If you play them in the deck or have them all in the field at once, you get like a massive like +10 to like a location or something like that. I don't know. So like that, because you should. But what I don't like is that this is available in ranked, your normal ladder, climbing to infinite, and conquest. And I know you're probably going to say, but Brad, these don't matter. They're small buffs. You get +3 power to location, or you get +1 to whatever. I'm telling you, all it takes, Teddy, is
Yep.
someone in those late 90s trying to hit infinite, or it could be someone that's like, I really want to make a push to climb this season, and they've been
Right.
heart stuck in like the 40s or 50s. They're like, I can't get past this. I want to hit the new milestone. Like, you want
Yep.
to feel good about yourself. You want
Yeah,
to be able
just
to go to the
whatever
next
that next
thing.
milestone is.
Right. And you're about to get it. You're about to get to 60, about to get infinite, whatever. And you're doing the math. You're calculating everything right. You did everything perfectly. You play the card as you should, and you lose because you didn't account for the +2 power that the X-Men would have given in that particular lane because they got the +1 across the board.
Sure.
That's enough for me to go, all right, I'm done. I don't want to play this game right now. Don't taint your competitive leaning or ranked gameplay with cool events like this. Give us an unranked mode in which you can have these events in like a rotation, like a week of rotation. You have Avengers and X-Men and like the power couples in the unranked mode, right? And then the next week you have whatever, or call it arcade.
At least put it into like, keep Conquest free of it, because Conquest doesn't deal with the hot locations.
Yep.
I kind of like the idea on ranked having a mode that's competitive that does get shuffled up like this, because like Ranked is meant to like appeal to the deck builders and people to kind of spice up the meta even in between balance patches. And so something like this, I just don't like that it landed right after a balance patch as well. Like
Yeah.
last time we had no balance changes and then we had the imbalance patch instead of the OTA. And I was like, okay, cool. You get this temporary, we'll come back and we'll actually change stuff later. Like that made sense. But we just had a huge shakeup. We've had new cards making huge shakeups, and now they're like, and now this. How about more and more? And it's just like all at once is too much.
I'm telling you, I'm still upset that they removed it from the roadmap because they're like, we don't have a need for it anymore. Yes, you
Oh
do.
yeah.
You need an unranked mode. You
Right.
don't even have to call it unranked. Call it arcade. That's a fun buzzword. Promotes the idea of goofy, interesting fun. They can introduce different modes and stuff like that.
Right.
And then just don't call it unranked because that's not very Marvel Snap of them. Like you don't. It doesn't sound like a thing they would do. So
No,
don't call it
they
that.
need to have a fun label for it, right? But
Yeah, and I think arcade's perfect.
I think it would. I think it would appeal to a lot of people who want to test decks.
Yeah, just mess around, have fun, and like have it be a full playlist. Like have arcade, and then like within that, like 3 different modes. Like just regular, like whatever. This is where your hot locations are, stuff like that.
Yep.
There's the team up mode where it's like, and like you could even take this idea of Avengers and like X-Men team up and be like, you can only have a deck that only has either Avengers or X-Men cards in it into this mode. That's the mode for
Right.
the week,
Yep.
right? And next week you can do different teams, right?
Yeah.
Uh, they have so much they can do, and they've talked about doing new modes. It's just right now. I know we're early in the stage of Snap. We're only going on 2 years. It's not that old of a game,
It's still 2 years, right? Like,
right? You want to be able to spread out your stuff a bit.
yeah,
But that's my thing.
exactly.
I like it overall. I like it. I think it's cool. I just want it separate from your ranked and your conquest modes.
If you guys want to use this to be able to climb, just find as many of the cheap ones that are good together as possible because you want a lot of cheap bodies. Don't go for the big boys.
Just
Just
play
load your deck
bounce.
up. Yeah, exactly. Play bounce that has some built-in synergies. Go for that.
Yeah, Beast, Bishop, that's good. Dazzler is actually pretty solid as
Sure.
well in bounce. You can do Iceman. You can do Hope
Yep.
Summers.
Yep.
You can do Kitty Pride.
Yep. That's
Let's
bounce. Like that's
see.
enough right there to trigger your
Yeah.
bonus.
See if there's any other ones. That's pretty much it. You could definitely do Wolfsbane if you wanted to.
Rogue as a control card option.
Right.
Yeah,
So
so there you go. I love that they put Cannonball on here already. Like, how long
yeah.
does this run? Did they say? That actually
Uh,
worries me for how long it's going to be. Like, they're
I
already
don't.
looking to future card releases. All the way at the top, is it on a banner?
Uh,
Nope.
no.
Okay, well,
Oh God. It's
definitely
the
is going
rest
to
of the
include
month.
Cannonball, so just made Brad dislike it even more.
At least I already hit infinite, so it's whatever, I guess.
All right, gonna roll into our tier list. We already placed Hope just below S. We have 15 cards across the S tiers of every series. We're going to now assemble them into the final ranking.
I'm missing a thing. Hold on. I just
Missing a
realized
tab.
because we did series 4 on its own. Let
Yes,
me
they were all
find.
split out.
Wait,
Well,
hold on. No,
we
wait, hold
we
on.
opened up with a bang
Here's
because there's
series
all these
4.
little weird things together.
Why is Hope not up here? Did I not?
Hope's in S5.
Yeah. Hope
Oh,
is S
weird.
tier. We
Okay.
There she is. And Pixie, we did not put her there. Mockingbird, like we said, saying there. Very good.
Yes.
So we have actually 16. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Okay,
5,
perfect.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So starting with Series 1 starter and Series 2, we have our
Yep.
lone S tier in Shang-Chi.
He might make it all the way to the top, guys. Let's cheer for our boy.
Yep. Then we have in Series 3, Omega Red, Magic, Death, Venom, Sarah, and Deadpool. Series 4, Darkhawk, Null, Zabu. And then Series 5, Miss Marvel, Loki, High Evo, X-23, Thanos, and Hope Summers. Before we start, Teddy, I have to ask you something.
Yep.
It was nice that we had a nice round top 15 to look at, so we can kind of figure out, the outside looking in, those 5 cards.
Yeah.
Now we're at 16 because I forgot about Hope Summers not being there.
It's fine.
So I'll ask you, I'll give you one chance. Okay. Through all these top cards, these top 16 cards, if you feel 110% confident that we should knock one of them down to Series A or Tier A, I let you have that option.
I mean, it's kind of Darkhawk, right? He got changed. The meta seems to have moved past him a little bit. Like the good cards Hawk decks are not there. They're just good cards junk decks now. That would be my one to put down to like the very top of A tier.
So the Annihilus...
Oh, look at that. They're played together.
Which one?
Hawk and Sentry together, right? So
Hawk is now 0.23, 54% win rate. The actual
that's below Pixie.
Yep, this deck used to be at like 60.
Yeah,
right. It's gone down to 0.30.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. I'm cool with Hawk dropping down. So Hawk,
and we even brought it up like we were going to
16.
wait and see the changes. Right. When we made the list, he was still the 4-0. That was nuts. The 5-4 just hasn't splashed in the same way.
Still good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
you can still hit infinite and do great. Yeah, top of A tier. We'll give him that too. So let's now I have to figure. So let me actually make a new tab.
Right.
Duplicate this. Okay. And I'm gonna reset.
Yep.
And we'll go. So S tier is now going to be 1 through 3.
Yep.
A tier will be 4 through 8.
Okay.
Then 9 and 10. Whoops. 9 and 10.
Oh yeah, because we're going all the way to 15.
11 through 15. And these I can just delete. So delete row. Delete row. Now, let me start by. Well, actually, let me add one row. That way I can.
That's the holding zone, right?
Yeah, put them all in the row.
Yep.
So add a row below, and I'll even call it
the void
holding zone. So let's see if I can find these as we go. Oh my God, that has to do with the ordering. Deadpool, bam.
Deadpool's still amazing. If anybody's been wondering about how he stood through some of the changes.
Kang. Bam.
Yep, definitely Kang up there.
Where are these cards?
Death
where
next
is
to Dazzler?
Death? Yep, Death. Bam.
Destroy put up so many amazing ones.
It really did. Where's Shang? Shang-Chi, where you at, my friend? There you are.
It's going to be one of the biggest patches ever if they change Shang at this point.
Yeah, and the one where he shifted from 9 to 10 was already super impactful, right?
Right, and they shifted other cards around him, which was what made that change so interesting. But he does really just like set and warp the game.
Series 4 is, Zabu. Zabu's in there. Where you at, Zabu? Zabs. There you are. Found you. Zabu. So that's Series 4. We're good on that. Series 3 is Venom, Magic, Omega Red. So Venom, Magic, Omega Red. So O for Omega. There you are. Omega Red. Venom. All right, Teddy, while I'm adding these, why don't you tell the fine folks about our Patreon and stuff like that?
Yeah, so if you guys want to be able to see our special videos early, like bonus content, or be able to watch us record the podcast live, then head over to our Patreon. You'll be able to gain those awesome perks as well as supporting our continued efforts here on the podcast. We're looking to be able to elevate the experience for all of you guys and keep this content coming out. So we love that community, and it also serves as kind of a quick pipeline in to be able to have contact with us. So it's the Patreon peeps that have connections to be able to recommend what decks we do backseat gaming for, which I think is going to be an awesome new series. I'm really looking forward to recording the next one. And I already had people in chat threatening that it was going to be the move detritus that we joked about previously. So it's a small enough community. You guys could legitimately force that through. Just stump to the base like the American political system, and anything is possible.
Yep.
I think you should cut me off here because it's just going to go downhill from now. Brad, do we have our lineup?
Just about. Also, keep in mind, my wonderful friends, you can also join the Patreon without being a paid member. You can be a free member. I still make sure that polls that do go up when it comes to voting for stuff like that, even as a free member, you still get a say. You still get to vote in the Patreon as a free member on what people see and what things are, because your voice matters as well, just like everyone else, because you're there, you're making the effort to be in the Patreon in general. And that helps you kind of gear up for if you want to make that jump into the paid tiers.
Ms. Marvel's there between Mirage and Werewolf.
Life is hard. All
Below
right,
Phoenix Force and above Scar.
What?
At the bottom, like the second row from the bottom.
Who am I grabbing?
Oh, you grabbed her already?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
perfect.
on. Thanos. I need Thanos, Haivo, Loki. Thanos, Haivo, Loki. Where's you? There's Thanos. We're
We do
almost
need
got
those.
it.
Those guys are going to be top teners.
Yeah. Loki. High Evo. High Evo.
Man, at this point, I think of Thanos and High Evo in the same breath, but it's weird to think that High Evo came out so much after and
Right.
like shocked us when he
3,
released, because he also
6,
got delayed
9.
so many times, and then he finally released at like without any fanfare. He's like, "Oh, he's in the game," and I was on stream and I was playing it, and I like hundreds of people were coming in to watch the testing, and it was like, man, this is fun.
All right,
All
here we
right.
go. Holding zone.
Yep.
Whoops. There we go.
Okay.
We got to
So
figure
we
out.
going bottom up, right?
Yeah, we're going to start with 11 through 15.
Sorry, Omega Red,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he's
We're already
15.
doing you a big service saying you're better than Darkhawk.
Right. Which he
you
actually might
not
be. No, I think he might be.
Okay, it's mostly because Brad's stumping for this guy. If I'd
I
remembered that
am.
Omega Red was as high as he was, I might have put him down to A tier. But you still playing much of your priority?
Yeah, I
Priority
played it
control deck?
partially today for our climb. Let me show you the overall stats, by the way, for it
Yep.
throughout the entire life of it.
Yep.
So this version, look at this win rate I have. I'm averaging a cube a game, right? 1.03, 65% win rate. I'm 118 and 61 with this version.
That's nice. This is very nice.
I am just also I'm 47 and 22 with this version, averaging 1.33 with discard, and then this Loki deck, I'm averaging 0.5, 65% win rate, 42 and 20, 45 and 24. We're doing work with these lists.
Yeah, exactly.
My pride and joy.
All right. Omega, but still Omega Red not top 10. Not quite.
No,
partly because of these new cards bump coming in, that he was already like on the bubble, and then like Hope came out, basically, right?
Yep. So
yeah.
I think my next contender for 11 through 15, just on the outside looking in, I'm thinking Venom.
The Destroy suite, we have to break them up. I probably put Venom down there as well, because if I'm thinking about the main power of that deck, it's Deadpool, Null, Death, all in the final turn.
Right.
Venom, obviously,
and X-23
very
is
good.
the enabler of that. But
yeah,
I also maybe thinking she's back there as well. I'm not sure yet.
She could be. I would probably put Magic as the next one.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah.
Great enabler, great for these combo decks, stuff like that. But that's kind of where she's devolved.
All right, you know
being.
what? We're being too nice. Like, this is obviously the best of the best. We can be mean. Magic costs you cubes when they pull the rug out from under you, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the risk. She does enable the wombo combos, but she will also enable you to lose big gambits.
Yeah, and on top of that, like I said, she's not like a blanket card you just play in decks because, oh, it's nice to have a turn 7. It's just she is just those combo decks, Mr. Negative, Living Tribunal, classic Hella decks, or even just Hella in general, really. That these are why they use Magic, but you're not going to use her in like say Darkhawk or Destroy even.
Okay, move X23 next to the other destroy cards. We have Deadpool, Null, Death, X23. I think one more of these has to go here. At least one more. Oh, but which one? Which one do you pick?
I
They all
think it's
work in
Death.
such. It might actually be Death, yeah, because Death is hurt by Mobius, who's
Right.
really popular right now. Now, one of the reasons that we moved Death up so much was you have to think beyond just destroy because Death is a staple in Hella as well.
Right.
But still, that's like a more minor case that helped her get to S tier, but I don't think it puts her into top 10.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. So now
I have
to
one
round out
more.
the rest of our before we get to top 10, I
What is
think
the worst card?
it's Sarah.
No, wow.
Look at the competition she's with. Can
The
you
competition
honestly
is that stiff. I mean,
can you honestly tell me that there's any of these cards? Can you really delegate any of these other ones outside of top 10?
no, I was about to say Sarah earlier. Actually, I kind of stopped myself, but that's probably more me like thinking history wise and not what she's doing for me lately.
Number
which is very much
11
where
though.
this is.
Number 11 out of like 300 cards at this point.
Oh yeah.
That's really good. And she's series 3. She's not like a new card. Like she's withstood the test of time. And look at that. She's next to like it's isn't it fitting that the cards that are here are all original cards?
Sarah Magic, baby.
out of what we have left, we have exactly 1 and 2. We have 2 in the top 10 original cards. All of these other cards are created in new releases at some point.
Okay, this is an aside before we get into our top 10, but I think it is a fun digression. Would Sarah Magic beta version be OP now? I think it still would. I think the power creep is like for the other decks, they'd be right there, but Sarah Magic would still be insane.
Yeah.
Because basically what it was, if you guys aren't familiar, is Magic was a 5 cost, but she could be played on turn 6.
Yep.
So you had the say on extending to turn 7 when your opponent did not know if that was going to happen. So they had to play their big finishers, and then you would say, whoops, turn 7, and then hit them with control cards.
Yep.
So I think, yeah, that play pattern was pretty toxic.
Yeah, I think just the surprise factor. But, yeah, I'd say so. I like this right here. I like 11 for 15.
Yep. All right. Number 10.
So I'm looking at
I might put
these...
X23 right here.
I'm actually there with you, and I'm going to take a step further, and I'm going to say number 9 is Miss Marvel.
Yeah. Especially with the change now. I like that. I like where she's settled on the change. I was initially hoping for just power down on her, but now that it's kind of had more time to stew, I'm pretty happy with where Miss Marvel is.
All right. Number 8. Looking at what we got, is this where I put Null?
Oh, interesting. Probably. I must say Null and High Evo and Loki are this tier.
Let's see what this looks like.
That's a quick rapid fire, and we can talk order in between them now.
I think I like Null at 8.
Like, yeah.
High Evo, I definitely don't think it's top 3.
Right.
And actually, as I'm looking at it, I think it actually should be this.
Put Deadpool in there right after. So Deadpool would be 7, Null would be 8.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then 6, and then 5.
That takes care of our destroy cards.
And then, is this number 4?
Oh, you can't be.
I know.
The Mad Titan doesn't settle for anything below top 3.
It's either him or Zabu, and I have a hard time putting the 2 cost make all 4 costs really good and force design around me
I mean, I'll give you
outside of
this
top
right
three.
now. What do you see more of, Thanos or Zabu?
Recency
Ever
bias,
since
Mockingbird.
that, yeah. But I mean, that's the thing is recency
I
bias.
still
But it's
see Zabu a decent amount.
every season since Blob, it's been Thanos bigger than Zabu.
It hurts.
It
It
does.
feels wrong.
I
But
like
then
Zabu, okay, but
so then we know our top three at this point, right? It's
yeah,
this. It's
right.
this.
Shang, Hope, Thanos. I think Hope is one of the reasons Thanos is so big, but Hope is big in other things as well. I might give her the edge to Thanos. And all time, greatest of all time, tier has just been created.
Honestly, yeah.
He has made us run 11 card decks almost since the beta. There's been a couple times where he's dipped out, but that's been very short lived.
Let me actually for whoops, as I ruin everything. For
Uh-huh.
readability's sake, let's add a row below. And then we'll just have this one be
Destroy boys.
yeah. Um
8
7
and 7.
and 8. And then 4 through 6. Yeah,
We
I
got
think
it.
this is the list.
So you hit him with the Shangarang up top. This is the number one card. And once again, it'll be earth shattering if he's ever changed again, especially in terms of like a cost increase, is what I've seen thrown around. Um, Hope and Thanos right now on top of the pile. We've seen the recent changes to Thanos. I think he's going to settle for a little bit, and changes will probably be directed at some of the other cards in his list. We'd really like to see Hope get knocked down to just once per turn, but otherwise, similar effect. Maybe play with her stat line. Zabu, Loki, High Evo, definitely evergreens at this point. Very proven. Deadpool, Null, almost just as evergreen. I guess Deadpool is a little more recent. Then Ms. Marvel X23, that Destroy deck still very well represented in just these powerhouse cards. It's interesting. Destroy's like half the cards are disgustingly OP and half the cards are like just happy to be there.
Right.
It's kind of how it plays. It's like, well, you just do the thing that helps the cards that are disgusting do the thing. Ms. Marvel has been awesome and kind of just good cards everything. And then the Sarah Death, Magic, Venom, Omega Red round out S tier cards that we put down in the 11 through 15.
Real quick, out of curiosity, if I were to go to the cards,
Win rate by card, or do they have? It's Hope. Is this
if
based on pure?
so, this is I have the filter at the moment. So all cards, uh,
How did they tier list them?
so they
Though,
do it by average cubes. Looks like.
but Shang-Chi is underneath Mockingbird. Is it has a higher? He has a higher popularity, but he has a lower win rate and lower cubes. So
Yeah, their tiers are based on average cubes and popularity of each among cards.
and
Huh.
popularity. Okay,
Weird.
so popularity will balance out win loss. Interesting, but basically the very stat driven untapped.gg list starts with Hope at the very top, then goes Shang, Mockingbird, Zabu, Jeff the Baby Landshark. Oh, Magneto.
Yep.
Nice, nice. Brad's now kicking himself for not having bumped him up a little bit
Nope.
higher.
Doesn't. No, I cannot give
Corvus
him the
Glaive.
satisfaction.
What the heck?
At
Okay,
point
Corvus Glaive has
16.
real bad average cubes, but he's popular in these discard decks that are going around.
Yeah, but that doesn't make him a B tier
I
card.
don't think he belongs here with these other ones. I'm taking onus with how they created this
Infinite.
list.
Yeah, this is not very stat driven. It feels. This feels
Also,
very.
B tier is just enormous at this point. We're just scrolling through like these. A lot of
Yeah,
these, I don't. I would like to see some more segmentation.
I'm still in B tier, and I've been scrolling for a hot second.
Yeah, they only have one A
Oh,
card, and
we
then
finally got the C
everything is
tier, and look who's
B.
in C tier. Loki.
Loki in C tier. I mean, his cube gain is abysmal right now, but I
He's
mean, I
also
think
the hardest card to pilot.
exactly. It's the high skill ceiling of the card.
Black Swans in C tier, Gladiators in C tier.
0.02 cube gay. That's why. Oh, it hurts. It hurts. Yeah. No, I'm very happy with our list. Go back to our tiers. Go back to what we created. We create better.
We do.
People came here for
We
us,
do
not for
better than the
Untapped.
actual numbers, apparently.
Exactly.
Well, because
Stump
like
for
it's
us.
not just about raw data of like win rate and stuff like that. Because like when we were making the original, like you guys have all seen this. Every time we talked about like putting something in S tier, A tier, every time I'd go to Untapped and look at its own stats at 80 to 100 plus, 6,000 plus collection level, and see how it was fitting. We even would exclude certain cards, see if there's anything like bringing it down, whatever. Um,
Right.
and we already used some of that raw data to kind of influence our list a bit. But it's not just that; it's also what it does for the decks that they're in, what it does for the archetypes as a whole. How many archetypes does it, have a a touch base on?
Yep.
How often do you see nerfs around cards
Right.
that are just kind of in the area and vicinity of some of these cards?
Yeah. Has this card been so good it causes other cards to get nerfed? Yes. Well, then maybe you're a really, really good card.
Right.
Loki, Zabu, Thanos, Sarah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna do something.
Oh no. Brad's going off script, guys. Is Eliath coming up? Mockingbird?
I'm thinking.
Mockingbird's number 15. You saw her at the very top of B tier, and you're like, she is kind of disgusting.
No. I don't think she's because if we go back to this,
Yep.
I don't think she's better than Eliath.
No, it's great
I don't.
company at the top of A. Truly.
Right. But something has to give here, and I will be okay with Omega Red dropping a bit as I kind of think
Okay.
about what gets played.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's really weird that he's down here, and I almost want to bump him up to this.
No, I would too. I think out of that group to go all the way up, it would be the Eliath. It'd be Eliath or Jeff.
I think Eliath is far more impactful than Jeff
Yeah.
on average.
Jeff's impact is a light splash and a little smile. But sometimes that's good enough. Actually, in
Omega,
all times, it's good enough. That's why
Omega, you're
Jeff's
still
leading.
you're still top 20.
You're
buddy.
still in the holding zone.
You're still a top 20. You'll wait for your shot.
Wait another season, guys, and then it's like, all right, Omega, you're still top 25. But War Machine is
he's top 5 in my heart. Yeah. Okay. Do we have any predictions for where War Machine's going to end up? What tier do you think he's going to be in?
Ooh, I think he's going to be A tier. I don't think he's going to hit S, but I'm going to have to play with him a little bit to see how busted this War Machine Infinite really is.
Cannonball? What do you think?
B tier. That's just my head talking. My heart wants to say more, but
we'll see.
Yep.
We did it. Top 10. Look at that.
Boom, 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 boom.
All right. We love you all. We appreciate you. You've made it through 6 weeks, right? No, 5 weeks. 4 weeks? Math. We did series 1 and 2. 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Top 10. So 5 weeks.
Yep.
This has been over a month in the making of episodes. Yeah. We finally have arrived to our top 10, the sacred, can't stop snapping, definitive. Don't listen to anyone else. Don't go see what K and Best says.
It's not worth it.
Don't go look at Snap Judgments and Glazer. They don't know anything. You might think they do, but they don't. We have the real knowledge.
Exactly.
Number 1 card in all of Snap, which I actually think most creators and pro players, can't really call them pro players, but like players of Lambie's caliber would probably be in agreement that Shang-Chi is the number 1 card in all of Snap, simply because the game is built around him.
He's the main character.
And we're living in his story. Isn't that great?
Yeah, it is.
You love him,
if
you
only
hate
he'd
him.
get another movie.
I hope he does.
Have they even announced 10 Rings 2?
Nope.
Ah!
Maybe they have. I don't know. Someone correct me.
Get on that, Marvel. We need it.
We hope you guys will stick around for the next one. Again, go to patreon.com/cancelsnap if you want early access to videos, bonus content like how to play Thanos, how to play Loki, and we'll be doing a third one in a couple weeks. But as always, Teddy.
Keep on snapping, guys. See ya.
Can't Stop Snapping is a podcast hosted and produced by Brad Saffer and Teddy Ninja, originally created by Michael Thurman.